I'm being summoned, I guess. We can do this.
One way or the other, it's going to happen, right?
That's correct. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Bible class this morning. We have a treat today. Mark Hatfield from Healing Hands International will be speaking to us not only in the Bible class, but also during the worship hour, and look forward to what he has to say. Just a couple announcements. Remember, the ladies have several things coming up, like the ladies' Bible study on July 16th at 1 p.m. at the little building. And then there's a ladies' day in October, and they would like to give out handmade ornaments as favors. And if you can contribute to that and help, that'd be great. Also, remember the Transform Ladies Conference. The cost for the trip is going to be $150, and the deadline to register with Debbie Rosenberger is July 30th. That's all I have. Anything else? Okay, then I'll ask Scotty to lead us in prayer, and then Mark, as soon as that's done, it's up to you. Okay?
Pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, this beautiful weather that we could gather here and hear another portion of your word and worship you. Help us to worship you in a pleasing way and help us to apply what we learn to our lives. Please forgive us when we fall short of your glory, Lord. Thank you so much for what Jesus did for us on the cross. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody today? Nice and cool, right? I got a little response there. Again, my name is Mark Hatfield. I work with Healing Hands International. We do a lot of stuff, and I'm going to do that during the sermon time to share more of what Healing Hands does. This morning, I'm going to focus on the Magi project. That's the one that's near and dear to my heart. So we're going to go over the Magi box. But as I talk, please, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, because I know that I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions, but I'm going to do my best. Please raise your hand, yell Mark, whatever you got to do to get my attention so I can answer your questions. We can do that here, and then during the sermon time, I guess we have to wait until after worship service, and then if you have any questions, please ask. Okay? Now, first of all, here's your Magi box. Okay, when it comes from the warehouse or it comes from me, I actually go to the Whitehall congregation down in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. So that's where I'll have more of these if you need more. But I'll go ahead and show you how to put it together. I'm not here to insult your intelligence, but we inspect almost 5,000 boxes every year in May. So I found out that if I can show you what goes into the box, it makes everybody's life easier in the process, a lot easier. So as you can see up here on the screen, that's right inside your box. Okay, those are the items that have to go in it. If you see up there, it says Magi box must-have checklist. So where the boxes are up there, that's what needs to be in there. Those are the things that the children need there in Honduras. And then right below the first line there, it says, once the above items are in the box, please fill the box. Here are some extra items you can include. So you can include those list of extra items, but make sure the important ones are in there first. We don't want them to get, a box with just, 14 Hot Wheel cars and one towel. Okay, that's not fair to them. And it's really not fair to us to do that to them. So as you build the box, think about it. When you're building the box, think about a child not in the United States and all the things that they have. But think of a child in Honduras or a third world country that has absolutely nothing. So kind of think about that as you build your box. So this is an easy way to do it. There's a young, well, it's not young anymore, Gavin, who's a teenager now. Him and I race him how fast he can build these boxes. But they'll look like this, the easiest way to do it. And you probably won't understand until you actually do it. But you fold in the big sides there, and then it's real easy. The sides, they go right inside. Okay? Some people like to do it the other way and make it come out, but it's a whole lot easier if you go in, because there's a hook there that keeps it. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. So that's the bottom of the box. The top, you just bend down, so you'll be able to see Healing Hands International. There's some ears here. You tuck those in, wrap the sides around, and there's little tabs here, little small tabs that go down into the box to keep it nice and tight there. So wow, look at that. Got yourself a Magi box. Okay? All right. Now, as you're building your Magi box, you have your supplies here. I would suggest, because you have a finite amount of space right here. So because of that, because you can't put everything in the box as much as you would want to, start with the flat things first, which would be like a notebook. You can use the spiral ring notebooks if you want. Just a suggestion, right now in Walmart, they're 2 for $1. Okay, so all the school supplies are real cheap right now in Walmart. But the spiral notebook doesn't fit in the box. The composition book does. So if you can get a spiral notebook, but when you put it in, it's not going to lay flat. It's going to end up being bent. So then what I suggest you do is, okay, you put a notebook in there. Check. You got your notebook in there. If you're like me, you can start packing like, oh, did I put that in there? Did I not put that in there? I forgot. So the checklist is right there. The next thing I would do is, and this is kind of important, the way I explained is, when I was a child, I would visit my grandmother in the hills of West Virginia. And as soon as I walked in the door, I knew I was in my grandma's house because I could smell the Irish Spring all the way through the house. So what we do is you want to get a soap box and put the soap in it. Please don't get a soap box that doesn't hardly stay together. Why? Because they walk about 2 miles or so down to the river to take a bath. And what do you think a wet bar of soap would do if it hit the ground? It's like a magnet, right? It collects everything that's there, and it doesn't feel good when you put it on your body. It'll be like sandpaper. Okay, so get a box that clicks. I can give you a website. We can get them about 37 cents. They're really cheap. Wrap them in a washcloth like this and put it in a Ziploc bag. Why? Because when it gets shipped in June and doesn't get there till December, it's going to be in that box. And if you don't do this, everything else in the box is going to smell, and we'll go over the candy there a little bit. It'll taste like it too. put your soap in a soap box like that. You can buy dresses. Sometimes you get them in the sale rack. Used to be $1, but now it's more like $3 in Walmart. We have a young lady. I'll call her young. She's older than me, but she sews. So I have patterns for the dresses that you can sew, and we have an older lady that sews. We have my mother, who is 90 years old. She does all the soap for our congregation. So I checked off the soap and the washcloth, and I checked off the dress. We have another lady that takes all of our toothbrushes and puts them in toothbrush holders. Okay. The reason why I'm telling these things is because this can be a church-wide project. Yes, you can hand the boxes out and each individual can do it. But I feel like we do a pretty good job in the Church of Christ doing things like like within our four walls. So this is a way that you can do that, and you can still, one, share the gospel, and two, have some sort of interaction with our other congregations in the area. Example, this here's Finn. I'll show you a lot of pictures in the presentation, but we dot all of our boxes, so when they get to Honduras, it's easy for me to take the pictures. So I can tell you that all the boxes from the Northeast here have made it down to Honduras. So the little kids get to do something, and then the adults do too. And you can work your work days out however way you want. For example, we get these water bottles. I believe they're $2 a piece. We put John 3:16 in Spanish on there, and we put all the little things in there, like the toothbrush holder, toothpaste, the pencils, pencil sharpener, any of the little stuff, and that just saves the space here in the box. So I got toothbrush holder, pencils, sharpener, erasers, crayons, or colored pencils, depending on the age. They're $4 for $1 at Walmart, or the colored pencils are $2 for $1 at Walmart, so that you can get them right now really cheap. And the reason why I say those things is right here on the side of the box, you have girls and then the ages, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 plus. So you can choose whatever age group that you want. Now, take it from a guy that's done this for 10 years, and we've made a lot of mistakes at Whitehall, but the first year you do it, I would suggest just pick one age group. Okay? Why would you do that? Because at the end of the process, you're going to have 2 to 4, shorts left over, and 11 plus t-shirts left over. And then you're going to be scrambling in the store trying to match those all up at the end. So as I talk this through, it seems like it's a super easy project. It is. It really is. But the first time you do it, I promise you, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Okay, because we did too. And you kind of work your way through it. It's about that's what life's about, right? Making mistakes and learning from them. Okay, so I got those marked off there. We try to put 2 pair of underwear in the box, one to wash, one to wear. Flip-flops. They'll go in there. And they need those because most of them are running around barefoot. So flip-flops will help them out. All right. Now, a brush usually for a girl and a comb for a boy. Okay, so that's, yes, sir.
I wanted to ask a question on
Yes, sir.
the one part. I knew several years ago when I traveled down there, I believe the kids can't go to school unless they have shoes or flip-flops. Is that still the case?
Yes, I mean, some of the schools out, if there's one in the mountain, there's usually in a parent's house or something. They could do that, but to go into school, they need some sort of footwear, yes. All right, now that's everything, those are all the necessities. Now you can, for the older, usually 8 to 10 or 11 plus, you can put some deodorant in there. Candy, we put that in a Ziploc bag for the same reason in the summer. Because everything will smell or taste like that. And any type of toys you can get for the dollar store, Etch-a-Sketch, something like that, a stuffed animal, anything like that. But the most important thing is put those necessities in. And going back to the school, it's only required by the Honduran government to go to school up to the 6th grade. That's all that's required. After that, they usually go with their parents and they work in the fields or the corn or beans or something that they're harvesting. So whatever the family can carry home for dinner for that day is their salary. So if they have another child working there, then they can bring extra food home. So we work with Mission Lazarus. That's how we are able to get into that country. They actually have a school all the way up to 12th grade on Mission Lazarus. Any questions on the box itself and what items can go in it? I didn't answer every single question, did I? Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's on the list, the sharpener. That's okay. That's okay. The bottom line there, the bottom square, it says sharpeners. So the biggest thing is putting those important items in there so they can use them to go to school. Because if you go to school and you don't have any supplies, it makes learning a little more difficult. Any other questions? Okay. You can do it several different ways. Like I said, you could, hand out a box and let every individual do it. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. You have to decide how you want to do it as a church family. Okay. We do it as a congregation, and we do it several different ways. We have a work day where we put all those items, the toothbrush, the toothbrush holder, the pencils, the pencil sharpener, the erasers, and we put them all inside our water bottles. We take all of our clothing and we roll them up, put a rubber band on nice and tight, and that way you can count how many that you have. So when it comes time to do your packing day, it's all ready to go. And you build all your boxes, and then we put them around the auditorium. Probably our building wouldn't look much like this. We put all of our supplies on the outside, and the people come in the work day and fill it up. And then it goes out in the auditorium, and our inspectors inspect it to make sure we're not missing anything. But the reason why I love this program, because any age group can do it. there's something for everybody to do, whether it's little kids, because who really cares how many dots are on there? But it's giving them something to do. They can feel a part of the whole operation. And I don't really care if there's one dot on there or 100 dots on there. I'll find a dot when I'm in Honduras. Come over here, these pictures are kind of explain what I'm talking about. See the dots on the boxes? That'll make it easier for me to take the pictures so you can see that those boxes actually made it to Honduras. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way some people are better at packing, like I can get a lot of stuff into one thing.
That's good.
So is there like a weight limit for shipping, or is it like a flat rate with that box?
It's just a flat rate. Yes. So if you can put it in that box, I'll make sure it gets to Honduras. I guess the big thing, no liquids. You can't have any liquids. A lot of people like to put those bubbles in for kids to play, and that would be great if I could get them there. But you can't put any liquids in there. Why? Because I've seen them in the warehouse where one of those bottles leaked and it destroyed about 4 or 5 other boxes. So you can't have any liquids in there whatsoever. And we try to make them all similar because it makes it easier to go through customs too. There's lots of rules to follow when you're going from one country to another. Yes, ma'am.
The toothpaste, can it be the larger toothpaste?
Absolutely. You can get those at Walmart. I think they're still under $1. If you get down your hands and knees on the bottom row, that's where you find all the cheap stuff. They put all the expensive stuff up there where it's easier to grab. Yes, the larger, whatever fits in that box. We actually encourage it. We get someone had purchased, that's why I use it for the display here, but it's a smaller one for the kids, but yes, we put the bigger ones in there. And someone gets little, like travel ones donated, so we don't want to throw away, but we put like 5 or 6 of them in there, whatever can fit, because that probably the large tube isn't going to make it all year, but at least we're giving enough. Any other questions?
What about nuts in the protein bars?
As long as it doesn't have chocolate in it. Because the chocolate won't make the trick. Okay, it'll melt, lose its consistency. Brings up a funny story. I was doing this with a young teenage girl. I was explaining, she would say, well, how can you said no chocolate, but you can put a Tootsie Roll in there. Well, I think if anybody's as old as I am knows that that's not chocolate. That has more preservatives in there than if you made a time capsule and dug a hole and put it in the ground and pulled it back out in 20 years, it would still taste just like that. So that's not really chocolate. No chocolate, no liquids. Prefer not a soap dish like that. And again, it's okay to make mistakes. That's why we have a whole inspection team in Whitehall. If you put something there that's not supposed to be in there, we'll just take it out. And the next time I come and see you, that's probably the part I don't like, is I have to tell you that you put something in there that you didn't. But that's just so we can learn and we can all work together. What I like most about the Magi project is you can go into the store, you can fill your cart up with underwear. You're rolling up to the counter, someone's going to ask you why you have a whole grocery cart full of underwear. They're not going to let that go. See, one, you can explain them what you're doing, and you can tell them how you're just showing the love of Jesus to as many people in the world that you can. And you continue that conversation the best you can. So you can take this box and share the gospel here locally, but you're also going to take that box and send it across, in this case, into Honduras, where we can show the love of Jesus Christ to other people, which will soften their hearts so they can hear the gospel. And the reason why I say that part about Honduras, we go into the mountains. I mean, it's in Chulateca, which is all the way down by the Nicaragua border. So we're up in those mountains, and our drivers and our interpreters are the 4 preachers that work in those mountains. So the elders in those villages, they really don't like people in their villages. So if we can go in there and show them the face of Jesus, show how much we love them, that'll make it that much easier for those preachers to share the gospel in those villages. You get to share the gospel here in the United States with the Magi box, and you get to share the gospel in another country too. That's what pretty much drew Jane, my wife, and myself after I retired. Wanting something to do, that's what struck a chord in my heart. And I'll be showing you a whole bunch of pictures like that right there during the sermon time. Can't beat those smiling faces, especially when those children have absolutely nothing and you hand them a box. They really don't care what's in it. They're just excited that someone actually gave them a gift. And then when they open that box, whole different story. Just the smiles, it's unbelievable. Any other questions? Any curiosities there?
Can we put Bibles in there?
You can.
Okay.
What we do is we try to fit all the personal hygiene items, school supplies in the box, and then we take the Bibles with us. And we kind of leave that part into the preacher's hand because he already knows the relationships, and I'm not saying no, don't put a Bible in there, because it's better to have more Bibles in the house than no Bibles, but they're the ones, they know who to give it to. You know, as much as I feel loved by how they treat us when we're there, you know, they know them a lot better than we do. And when we're traveling through the mountains, and there's men and women both go, but if anyone needs to use the baño, the restroom, any one of those preachers can just stop at any one of those houses, and those people will invite you in and be able to use what we would call an outhouse in the back. But if we stop, plan on spending at least an hour there, because they're going to feed you, they're going to try and talk to you. We can learn some hospitality from Hondurans. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is, they'll invite you in. You'll have to sit down. They're going to some sort of cheese, beans. You know, they probably have a little bit of chicken. That's like a rare thing for them to have, but they'll feed you. You won't be able to leave until you're full. They're just going to keep feeding you. Any other questions? I couldn't have answered all your questions. Those dots may not seem important, but it's important to this guy. And it's important when we get down there at Honduras so I can take those pictures and I can bring them back and show you. again, the work day, everybody can decide how they want to do that. Once we get 10, they go in a large HHI box. And then I put those, 25 of them go on a pallet, have to shrink wrap those, and drive them down to Nashville. This all happens in May. Our year pretty much works from July, August to May. All the boxes have to be turned in there, down to Honduras, or down to Nashville in June. And then they're put in the warehouse there, and then they'll put them in a shipping container. That shipping container goes on rails to Savannah, Georgia, and they get put on a big cargo ship. And then it goes and sits in the Bahamas until Honduras says, okay, you can bring them in. That's why they ship in June, and they don't get there till December, because it's 100% up to the Honduran government when they'll let you bring them in. So I'll be talking about it a little bit more in the sermon time, but you have to have an in the country. That's why I work for another group called Mission Lazarus. Their lawyers helps us bring that in. Some countries you can't even get into. So we do what we call sponsor a box, where someone can donate money, and then we buy that, Ghana, we have to buy that on the economy, and then we can take it to the kids. So we're lucky enough to be able to do that on doors, to bring that shipping container in. There's actually 3 of them that go down. From this area, last year, we did 4,920 boxes that we put down there. I'll be able to see those in December. About 16,000 goes to Honduras. So that's about almost a third, so it's easier for me to find those dots and take pictures. Anybody else? There's got to be one more question. I don't know what time I'm supposed to stop. Okay, so about 5 or 6 minutes is your last chance.
What about pens? I noticed you have pencils, colored pencils.
Yeah, you can put some pens in there. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They in school use more pencils, but I'm sure there's just like the colored pencils they want. I'm sure a pen. Yes. Yes, sir.
So you're primarily in the areas like Chulateca along the highway up to Tegus, or, oh,
No, we mainly work out of Chulateca.
okay,
And just in February, we went down, and the largest department, the largest state is Rancho, which is up in the northeast. We're working with a group called Predazon. They work with the Church of Christ in Atlanta. They have a hospital there. They have clinics out in the mountains. And now the reason why we're linking up with them is because they're trying to get the municipalities in those mountain areas to build a schoolhouse. And then what they're trying to do is get the ladies of the villages and living in the mountains there, if they do the school lunches for the kids, and then President will reimburse them, but you have to get the whole community to buy in to make this project work, or you're just wasting your time. So we're working in 2 areas now. The boxes here, these ones will go down in December to go to Chulateca, and we have some more going down, and in February we'll go to El Rancho. Have you been to Tegucigalpa?
yes.
Okay.
And I've been to Chulateca, it's hot there.
Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Jared Brown, who's from Nashville, he's a wealthy gentleman, belongs to the church. He has a little ranch up in the mountains. So we stay there in the evening, so we get a nice break from the hot, dusty roads during the day. So, yes, it's hot. It's definitely hot. I look forward to the evenings. Oh, no other questions? I can't believe that I answered everybody's question. I'm not that good. Yes, the biggest things you cannot put in the box is chocolate or liquids. So if you want to put a protein bar or whatever, just make sure it doesn't have chocolate. And that you can, anybody from, Finn's 4 years old and my mother's 90 years old, anybody could work on this project. Anybody. She gets all the soap together so that the last day when we're ready to pack, the soap's all ready. Shirley does our toothbrushes, put them in the toothbrush cases. Holly sharpens all of our pencils and putting erasers on them. Everybody has, those are all older ladies that don't get out much, but they can still feel part of the congregation. Yes, sir.
Can you do more than one box?
Absolutely. I would like for the congregation to do 2,000 boxes, but I don't know if that's possible. You guys can do as many as you want. Yes, ma'am.
Dry shampoos from the spring. Like if we have a question on something that we would like to add to the box, is there a contact person?
Me.
Okay. I
I'm in
figured,
Pittsburgh. I was
Is
going
that-
to say
is
it's
your
not a long distance phone call, but we don't do that anymore.
and your information is on the box, or we just have it?
Yes, Stephanie.
Sir, has anybody asked about dry shampoo?
If I had to be honest, no, they have not. What exactly is it? A powder or?
Looks like it's a spray powder.
I don't know if we're putting aerosol spray. That might not be good for customs. We stick to basic things like a bar of soap, so we can make it through customs. Okay, they don't have anything, so a bar of soap is going to be exciting. No, they might be thinking it's something else. We just have to be careful what goes through customs, that's all, yes. Yes, sir. That's a good question. There you go. I'm glad you brought that up, because these were just donated, and we threw them in there, so. I'll tell you what. I will ask. But I'm thinking no, but I'm gonna ask. Because usually we buy the ones from the dollar store, they're just roll-ons. These were just donated. So when I built a box, yesterday afternoon, there was a box up there and I just threw it in. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm gonna say no because it's an aerosol. So I'm glad you brought that up. See, after 10 years, I still make mistakes. So when I told you before, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay.
Well, a roll-on would be a liquid of some sort.
No, it's just a hard, it's
You
not
want a solid.
solid, yes. You want a solid. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll try not to give my daughter a hard time for putting that in. I'm just kidding.
And what if,
So let's stick to the solids.
What if you wanted to be part of the team that goes down there?
Then you would give me a call, and we have a certain amount that we take every year, it's around 12 or 15. So if you would like to be a part of that, give me a call and we'll try to work it out. We're just now starting to talk about the December trip. And you have my phone number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've gotten the nod. I think we're done. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any questions, just ask. If you have any questions after I leave, just check with Stephanie and she'll answer or get an answer to you.